Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Smith, for the extraordinary leadership you have on the Foreign Affairs Committee. And all of us must pray in our own way today for the passage of this resolution, because we know that the Ethiopian government is pulling out all the stops to defeat this. And so today the United States House of Representatives will have an opportunity to vote on House Resolution 128, supporting respect for human rights and encouraging inclusive governance in Ethiopia. House Resolution 128 calls upon the government of Ethiopia to take clear and decisive steps towards becoming more inclusive, more democratic, and more respectful of basic human rights of all its people. There will be those who will argue today that the resolution is counterproductive and that the government of Ethiopia has been a strong and dependable ally of the United States.
Yes.
The opponents will say that the national security interests of the United States justifies our support for this government, and therefore we must ignore the cries of the Ethiopian people who are suffering under this oppressive government. The opponents fear that the Ethiopian government will end its cooperation with the United States in the war against terrorism if we publicly criticize their human rights record by passing this resolution. But I say to them, far too long, the United States has looked the other way, as the Ethiopian government has so often used the weapons that we have provided for them not to fight terrorism, but to terrorize its own people. Far too long, the United States has looked the other way as peaceful protesters were met with violence from heavily armed Ethiopian security forces. And for far too long, the United States has looked the other way as journalists, political opposition leaders, and anyone who dared question this government were rounded up and shipped off to detention camps. The U.S.-backed government in Ethiopia has lost its legitimacy to govern and rules by brute force and intimidation. To the opponents of House Resolution 128, the passage of this resolution to them will mark a setback for the relationship between the United States and Ethiopia. But it is my hope that the passage of House Resolution 128, supporting respect for human rights and encouraging inclusive governance in Ethiopia, will mark a new beginning in the history of the U.S.-Ethiopian relationship, where the United States will never again have to look the other way, and Ethiopia will realize its full potential by embracing all of its citizens and becoming the great nation that it has always been destined to be. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Sorry.